Do you think, Sir Anthony, that in these private discussions you achieved a greater success in breaking down these mutual barriers of distrust than in the public sessions?
I think that is true. Of course, in a conference like this, 4 heads of governments haven't met for 10 years, and some of the men knowing each other, like the President and I, knowing each other very well, of course. Others hardly knowing each other at all. I met Marshal Bulgarian years ago when he was mayor of Moscow, and I went to look at that underground. But apart from that, I didn't really know him. So in those conditions, it's the talks outside the conference, away from the table, that are often worth most. And I'm sure it was so this time. We were able to understand each other's problems much better than we could have done if we'd stayed all the time around the conference table.
Sir Anthony, when Sir Winston proposed this in May 1953, apparently one of the motives was it would help Western leaders to probe into the minds of the new Russian leaders. Do you think this conference gave you a chance to probe and find out what made these men tick, more or less, what their ideas were?
Well, I dare say the process was neutral. Perhaps they found out how we tick, provided you think we do. Well, thank you all very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. On again?
I know.
Oh, glad to see you.
Very well, sir. Welcome back, Sir Anthony. And, of course, everyone would like to know what you feel about the results of the conference.
Well, thank you very much for the welcome. I think we were wise not to try to get down into too much detail in our 6 days of work. We really, I think, tried to achieve 3 things. The first, to agree upon the nature of the problems we have to solve. The second, to chart the course. And the third, to try, in private discussions, to reduce the sense of mistrust. I think it's true to say that we succeeded in all 3 of these, more certainly than I had expected.
What do you feel, Sir Anthony, was the most significant thing during the week?
Well, that's a difficult one to answer, isn't it? But I would say the most valuable feature of the whole business is that now there is a chance for the nations to go ahead on a course which has been set the right way, the way towards peace. Now, plenty of problems, plenty of difficulties, but at least we're heading the right way, which was something you couldn't be sure of some time back.
Well, Sir Anthony, President Eisenhower's proposal made on Thursday has received the lion's share of the publicity. Do you think it has attracted a bit too much away from your more modest but more realistic proposals, perhaps?
Nothing President Eisenhower says can detract too much from anything that I've said. Our relations aren't like that. They're much too close. No, I think it was a very imaginative proposal. And quite rightly, it struck the peoples of the world, I think, as showing the sincerity of his feelings on the matter. But, of course, there are other problems we've got to resolve, other offers we've got to examine, and all these can be taken up and pursued. The important thing is if the principals left Geneva feeling about the other countries that they don't plot immediate war. And I believe they all think that. All 4 of us think that, and I believe the countries will think it too.
What lies between now and November, when the foreign ministers take up the stories of
October?
October, I think.
They'll have to work very hard, which isn't an unusual experience for foreign secretaries. They'll have to work very hard to prepare against that meeting, because they will have to discuss all the things which we have put down for them in our directive. They cover a wide range of topics, and there are many possibilities in them, particularly perhaps in the security pact proposals for Europe which we have made. All those things have to be probed when they meet, and it'll take some hard work, but as I repeat, we're set, I think, now in the right direction. There will be many setbacks, there will be many problems. I told you before I left, don't hope too much, don't despair. That's still good advice, but I feel more confident about the international scene than I did when I left for Geneva.
Thank you.
Is that for Colombia as well as for you?
Yes, yes. I'm going to America tomorrow.
Oh, well, I hope I can do it. No more.